Alright. Attempt number many attempts. I've tried this quite a few times, and every single time I run up on thinking that I'm missing something or I'm doing it wrong, even if like the only wrong thing is really to misinform people. Partly because you can't really encompass all of the information about Bryan Fury into, you know, like whatever, like an hour, 2 hours. It's a pretty, like, people are still learning stuff about Tekken every day. You know, there's obviously many things I probably don't know about this character. But I figured the way I would do this is to kind of like do it in the way that I sort of philosophically believe about Tekken, which is that I think the defense is super important. And this is me saying that not as someone who has great defense, who wants to, but just like does not. But having said that, we'll do it maybe in the order of going punishment first. So I will actually split these videos up into parts. In this one, we're going to go over like the different punishes he has, why you might use some and not others, you know how good they are, for what purpose they might be used, all that shit. So, with to start, we'll go with 1-1-4. Okay, this is his normal 10-frame punish. It should reach virtually everything that's 10 frames. Not absolutely everything, but most things that are 10 frames and are supposed to be punished by a 10-frame move will be hit by this. It's +4, which means this will trade with anything else. This will beat out his 13-frame move will beat out anything else if they decide to mash. If they decide to step, it's a different story, but that's his normal 10-frame punish. This 2-3. And I should probably have the input display on here, actually, come to think of it. Where is the input display? Don't hide that shit. 2-3. This is another 10-frame punish he has. This one is better in every way except for range. So if you can't use 2-3, you should use 2-3 over 1-4. It has better frames. It has better damage. The only thing it doesn't have is range, so sometimes 1-4 will reach things that 2-3 doesn't reach. But it'll also make things like this a stronger frame trap. And this is like, even if this trades with someone's 10-frame move, you're still getting a counter hit combo off that. So obviously very, very good. Next move, 4-3. That's his 12-frame punish. He got it. I can't remember if he got. I think he got this in season 3. So he got this shit in season 3, 4-3. This is his most damaging out of this, and this. This does the most damage, but a lot of the time, even when someone does a 12-frame move, you may still want to do this for the frames. Like 3 damage isn't that much, and you may still want to do that for the frames. +6 versus +2. Because at +2, I mean, the field is very, very open for Bryan, and for a lot of characters. Like stepping at those frames is like very, or step blocking, I should say, is very strong for either character when you create that situation. So usually this is just a little bit better. Just a little, well, it's a lot better frame-wise. Quite a bit better frame-wise. And then we have down forward 2-1. This also has pretty good range. This technically has better range, but there are some moves that this will punish, that this will not, and vice versa. Because it has something to do with like the hitboxes of the enemy, or it has something to do with the enemy's hitboxes. Like where sometimes, I don't have a marker on the screen, but their hitbox will be lower and farther out in front, where this won't hit them. Like they'll go under it. Even if it's a -13 move or a -12 move, they'll go under it. So if it's -13, and you have the option between these two, sometimes this is better, sometimes this is better, basically just because one will punish and the other will not. But this is +8. Obviously this is good frames. They kind of end up a little bit away though. But once you have this, you can, try and lock them down with that. I do believe, if I remember correctly, they can backdash out of this though. Let's take a quick look. Let's take a quick look. CPU action 1 is stand, CPU action 2, backdash. Bryan cannot. So I would imagine Bryan's backdash isn't that great. Like, it's okay, but it's not one of the premier backdashes. Some characters will be able to backdash out of this. Out of the first hit of this even. But if they decide to step or something, if they decide to step, they're definitely getting hit with this crap. Definitely getting hit with this crap. So unless their step block is super tight. So that's oh, okay. Finally, onto this one. At 14 frames, Bryan gets this. Jet upper. Well-known move, mostly because of taunt jet upper. But jet upper, 14 frame punish, 14 frame block punish. Alright, so if someone tries to hit you with a move that's minus 14 and the spacing is good, you get this shit on them. And that's fairly unique. There aren't that many characters that have this kind of move, and Bryan's damage is pretty high. So anytime he gets to launch you, it's really good for him. Really good. So very important. Very important when you can to get this move. There are a lot. The thing about this though, so it's 14 frames, but the astute among you will observe that it comes out of an input that's not like down forward 2. So you got to go forward, backward 2, right? Very obvious. Like everyone can see that. Like, oh yeah, what do you mean? Well, that actually means the move comes out in 16 frames if it's out in the open. You can buffer it and block stun. So I'm not waiting for the recovery of that to be over. I'm just pressing it while we're sitting there for a second in the middle of in the vortex of block stun. Let me see if I can show that a little bit more easily. Okay, cool. So I'm pressing that while we're both blue, as opposed to letting us go to our normal color, which means that we would be out of recovery. And that will make it come out in 14 frames. But if I just do it out in the open, it has to be the maximum best speed to come out is 16 frames. Because while it's possible to do this input without the neutral, all that happens is you'll get it back too. Which is like really hard to do. I can't do it on purpose, but it does happen once in a while, and it's really fucking annoying when it does. So that's jet upper. After jet upper, we have forward 4-1. This is mostly a long-range whiff punisher. Mostly. But there are some moves that people will throw out occasionally where this is the best option. They'll be like hella minus and jet upper won't reach. So this is the option for those moves. But it's mostly a long-range, big damage whiff punisher. Something to keep in mind when you're, well, you know, somewhere around here maybe, and you see someone throw out something slow. Or if you have a read on someone doing a thing and they throw it out, and then you just immediately pull the trigger. Very, very good move. Very good move. You don't get to use it that much at higher level at times, but like, and even higher level than me, I should say. But still really good. Still really good. What else? What else? While standing punishment. Okay. While standing punishment at 11 frames, we have the normal while standing 4 plus 5. You know, game is fairly open at that point. He's far enough away that you can't really do this reliably. So this is just to get your damage in, pretty much. This is just to get your damage in, pretty much. We have that. We have this. You end up a little bit closer. Plus 4. So this isn't real. They can mash out of this. But sometimes they still won't want to. Mental frames are pretty good for Bryan. You can jab out after that. And then after that, we go straight to his 15 frame launch. This is good for the damage, because of the damage you get off of him when you hit someone with while standing 1, which is basically, you know, Bryan in a wow, good shit, dude. I'm missing the down. Thank you. Good shit, Benji. I made this character, by the way, just for anyone that's curious. But that's 72 damage without a wall, and then if you do the better combo, it's even better than that. I believe it is. Let me see. I think it's 77. And then the wall, which would make it even more than that. So this is really good for the damage. Otherwise, you know, it's not the longest range. It's not the longest range. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but there are times where if you duck and you get a staggered low, like with Eddie specifically, if you do this move, it will whiff. It will whiff. Which is where, on staggered lows, we get this. Fisherman Slam. Which is fucking badass. I love this move, but at the same time, I hardly ever use it. The reason being, because when you knock someone into the wall like this, you get that awkward back splat situation. Okay? A lot of the time on a walled stage, I much prefer doing the normal. I'm just gonna do the easy combo for now, because I can't do the other one. I much prefer getting this kind of splat into taunt Oki. I much prefer getting that kind on a walled stage every day. However, on an infinite stage, or when you know there's not going to be a wall for you, this can be really good. It's crazy high damage. Crazy high damage. It does carry them a little bit, but, like, you know, again, the wall carry is whatever in this situation. Again, I just prefer this a little bit more when we have walls involved. And, oh, the other thing about this move. When it's blocked, for a pretty long time, you probably won't get too many people to punish this move. Because it pushes pretty fucking far back. It's minus 16. Bryan can punish that with forward too, but he's got to react hella quick. You know, Jack can launch it. There are characters that can launch him when he does this. Obviously, I don't want to say that you should just do this, but it's a bit of an awkward move to get around for a while. But anytime you duck something, the damage basically makes this move really good. The damage and the fact that you get taunt Oki basically makes his normal launcher quite nice. Is there anything else as far as punishes go? I think that's it. Yep, this is a little bit slow when you're out in the open, but really good when you block something. This is your long range. Yeah, alright. For this particular video, we are done. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll try and get another video out in the next few days on his other moves and how to apply them more in like a neutral situation. But again, I just wanted to do this one first. Partly just to make myself do it because I'm a lazy bitch, but also because I feel like going in this order where I emphasize the fact that like the punishment and the defense is more important makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. It's how I want to play, even if I don't play that way all the time. But anyway, alright, thanks for watching, guys. Peace. Alright, guys, as I knew I would, I forgot one punisher. This is something that's done out in the open. It's not really ever used as block punishment. And most of the moves that I mentioned before, even this one, I was mostly referring to block punishment. But in mentioning this one, I feel like I'm obligated to mention Quarter Circle Back 2. Quarter Circle Back 2 has like similar range, but it crushes a little bit. Or not crushes, it evades highs a little bit. And gives you a nice, beefy, like, almost 60 damage and anytime you hit it. So this move is, you get that guaranteed most of the time. Most of the time you hit that move, you get that guaranteed. And it's because it evades a little bit. When if you're watching someone and you're a little bit worried, sometimes this is not the play. Sometimes you would prefer to use this Quarter Circle Back 2 instead. It still does like plenty of damage. Like more honestly, it's kind of absurd for the way the move works. How good the damage is. It doesn't do as much damage as this into launch, into wall, into taunt Oki. It is true that if you can, you probably do want to use this, but this is still absurdly good out in the open. Maybe better for that crushing property and the fact that for some reason it seems to clip. Maybe I'm crazy, but it seems to clip people who press, like if you're back here and someone presses a button, it seems to clip people that do that better than this move does. I'm not sure if that's a hitbox thing or what, but like technically this move has comparable range, but it just feels like it just doesn't work as well as Quarter Circle Back 2. Maybe it doesn't. Every time I check this, it feels like they've been about the same. No, this maybe has slightly more range. Maybe that's why. But again, the evasion really helps, and then like there aren't that many people that get that kind of damage from that range. You know, you can get even more with this, but even this on its own is fucking fantastic. Anyway, so I just felt like I had to make sure I got that one in there, as I said, I knew I'd forget something, and there it was. Anyway, now have a good one. Yo, what's up, YouTube? I forgot one very important punisher, super important, as I knew I would, and I'm sure this shit's gonna happen to me if I keep trying, but God damn it, I guess I just gotta learn to plan this shit out better. Lost Punisher. Lost Punisher that I know of, that I'm aware of, is for 13 frame moves. And that is this shit. Down 4-2-1. If someone hits you with something that's minus 13, down 4-2-1 is your go-to. And as you can see, if you're next to the wall, that shit wall splats. If I remember correctly, this is, I think, maybe third highest damage in the game for 13 frame startup Punishers while standing. Something like that. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And if it's next to a wall, it's really good. So yeah, definitely keep this one in mind. Definitely keep this one in mind. The only thing I would say is if you're ducking under something, you want to be careful about doing this instead of this, because this will put you standing and you will not evade stuff. Like you can stand up into things doing down 4-2-1. But if you're just punishing, I mean, you know, fucking go for it. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, that was a pretty big omission. After doing that fucking Frame Whisperer vid on him missing mock kick, this is moderately embarrassing. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. This is his 13 frame Punisher. I think that's the last one. Hopefully I don't fucking find out that I fucked something else up. Alright, thanks. Peace.